Well, what is going on? Probably wondering, what the heck am I doing? And whose car is this? Hilariously enough, this is actually my car. It's my MG Mark III Roadster. Had this car 4 years, 5 years? No, way even longer than that, 7 years. Yeah, anyways, it's gonna give you a quick tutorial. I'll do a video on the actual car because you probably are wondering what it is. Today I figured I'd shoot a quick video on how easy it is to do an oil change on one of these, because we're seeing far too many of these where people do not change the oil, and it needs to be. In fact, I would change the oil on this, especially this motor. This is a 1275, which in my opinion is one of the best engines to come out of England, but that's my opinion. This thing's been phenomenal. It's been a wonderful engine. Yes, it still has Lucas, Prince of Darkness. I've never had really any issues with it, but for the last 5-6 years of truly driving this, and I don't just do this on the weekends, I drive this car all the time. It's been fantastic. So, but I live by 3 rules on this. Treat the car with respect, change the oil religiously, and be willing to work on it. What I mean by willing to work on it is tinker with things here and there. They will not run perfectly all the time. You have to adjust things. Obviously these carbs, they have oil in them, and people forget to often check to see if they have dash pot oil in their carbs, and that was one of the main reasons why some of the times their carbs run like absolute crap. So there's a list of things to do, and I will do a video separate on that. But today's list, or objective of this video, is to do an oil change, and it is the world's easiest thing on these engines. And why I say to do this with such high importance is because these motors are 1940, 1950s designed engines. And what I mean by that is they're old school timing chain and lifters, or I should say timing chain, but lifters and an old engine design. You know, cars today, they're running synthetic, and they're like advertising 10, 15,000 mile oil changes, and that's absolute bananas to me. I don't think that's, I mean, I guess it's good, I guess it's bad. I would never do that with my engine, but as far as this guy, change the oil, I change the oil on these every 3,000 miles on the dot. In fact, and if it's been sitting long, it's hard to put 3,000 miles on these if they're just a weekend car, then I change it once at the beginning of the season and at the end of the season. So a lot of people have opinions on what oils to run, and there's going to be a billion things on the online. Run this, run that, and that. There's not really a bad oil, except one factor I would be strongly advise against, and that's running synthetic in these. And why I wouldn't run synthetic in these is because the clearances and the tolerances are too large, and synthetic just tends to slip on by. I'm not saying synthetic is bad, but on an older engine I wouldn't run synthetic. I would run just conventional oil. My favorite oil to run in almost all my cars is diesel oil. You're probably thinking, well, why would you run diesel oil? Simple, because diesel oil is made for old school engines, for one. It's heavy duty, and it usually has high zinc content and other contents that most oils do not have anymore. So I run Shell Rotella and just regular conventional 1540. Now there's other great oils. You know, Mobil has, I believe, a VR1. The racing, it's a not synthetic, just conventional. That also has very high zinc content. It's a great oil too. It's a quality oil and a really good oil filter. And I'm going to show you where and how easy it is to change the oil on these. Literally, I'm doing this in a parking lot because it's really nice out, and I have an oil pan, and there's a auto parts store right behind me that I can drop the used oil off. So it's a win-win. I'm doing this in less than 15 minutes. Oil change in 15 minutes. And it all cost me no more than 35 bucks. So the biggest thing you want to start with is take off your cap. You want ventilation. Okay. For the actual drain is the plug right there. It'll be passenger side, and it is a 19 millimeter socket. Simple as that. Let that drain so you see no more oil draining out. And then your oil filter location on these is also incredibly easy. It is literally right underneath the generator, and it's just a little baby oil filter. And you know, some MGs have the 1275, some I believe have the 1800. I run this oil, a good filter, and I add a little bit of the Lucas oil stabilizer. It's this stuff right here. If I can actually get it out of here. This stuff. And so, yeah, like I said, literally a parking lot oil change car. Super easy. Just change it off. That's all I can vouch. Tighten up that actual filter. I do hand tight. You do not want to get these overly tight. It's not necessary. And hand tight your oil pan bolt. Not overly tight. People tighten these things off way too much, and I see them rounded off all the time, and it drives me nuts. It just needs to be hand tight. It's not going to pop off. And then top it off with, you know, every car can vary as far as how much oil they hold, so make sure you look yours up. Don't take what I say from a level wise, because every car is different. Some take 3.5 quarts, some take 2.5 quarts, so double check it. But that's an oil change on MG. So straightforward, very easy. And you know, for your British sports car shop, they're going to charge you probably $100, $150 to do this. And that's ridiculous. You can do it yourself. 15 minutes in a freaking parking lot. So take my word of advice, and if you're new to changing the oil or stuff, that's totally fine, because, like, frankly, you don't have to be a mechanical expert, and it's not very hard either. Like, I advise anybody to do this. I don't care if you've never changed a tire before, just try it. Maybe do it under the supervision that somebody else that has done it before. That might help, but honestly, it's not hard at all, and your motor will thank you. And changing the oil on these is the biggest thing to prolong the longevity of these old British sports car engines. So thank you for watching, and hopefully that helped you out a little bit, and keep motoring on.